This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. We're proving right now that we don't need Mike Zimmerman. We don't even need Jake. It's time to start making cuts.
Well, I don't know. He could fix the TVs for us right now.
And I want to encourage everybody to send me emails, text messages. I would like both humorous and serious ideas to how we're going to stop the toll legislation and how we kick Boehner, McConnell, and Obama in the butt to build our bridge with the damn tax dollars we send to Washington. Willie and I on a crusade. You know what? We're going to fight like warrior poets. And last night it came to me that at Sterling Bridge, where William Wallace slew Longshanks' men, that Sterling Bridge was not built with a toll money. And when I watched that movie called Bridge Over the River Kwai, they built that bridge with English soldiers that were captured by the Japanese, but it wasn't toll money. And then the Concord Bridge, between Lexington and Concord, where we first spilled patriot blood. I stood on that bridge a couple years ago, and I felt the presence of those patriots. It was not built with a toll. So our Brent Spence Bridge is not going to be built with a toll either. And you know what we got to start asking? Who stands to profit from this private government partnership? Why would they want to spend $500,000 to $1 million to propagandize their lies? Or do they donate out of benevolence? Yeah, it's a scheme, folks. Which politicians will sell out for 30 pieces of silver? You know what? It's all about the money. I got to ask Roger Peterman from Peck, Schaefer, and Williams. Who's he gonna be preparing those bond documents for? And guess what? All these port authorities. Port authorities. We don't need any port authorities. We just need Boehner, Obama, and McConnell to say, build that bridge. All right, quote for the day. War is the remedy that our enemies have chosen. And I say, let us give them all they want. Ha ha! That is General William Tecumseh Sherman. You don't want to mess with old him. 1890, the first Army-Navy football game played. 1944, Johns Hopkins Hospital performed the first open-heart surgery. And I don't know why we have this clip, but I don't know, maybe William likes opera. You don't like opera? I think opera sucks.
No, I don't like that. Seriously, we gotta listen.
1948, the first opera to be televised is Othello, broadcast from the Met of New York City. The Met being the Metropolitan Theater. This is Verdi's Othello. Opera in 10 minutes.
How about no more opera?
Kill the opera.
How about no more opera?
You know, I do like some classical music. We ought to find Ode to Joy. Now, there's some music for you right there. That's what I say. What else do we have here worth mentioning? Nothing. Although we'll do this. I'm going to tell you right now, this song kind of creeps me out. In 1969, this song by the Beatles reached #1. And I think this is when they were doing their, psychedelic drugs, taking some LSD trips, man.
So you don't like it?
I hate this song.
Really? How about you, Garrett?
It's not my favorite Beatles jam, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I was going to say, I don't really hate it.
I actually like the intro.
Well, I hate it.
I actually like the intro the best. Come together.
See, and actually, I kind of...
Anna Faris, that goofy actress, is 36. Jenna Lee Nolan, who has a sex tape with some dude, doing his stuff. Of course, she was on Baywatch. I think everybody in Baywatch did a sex tape.
I'll have to check that out. I've seen the Pam Anderson one.
Well, Jenna Lee Nolan. Have you seen the Hasselhoff one?
No.
I'm not.
Hasselhoff.
I just made it up. Don Cheadle is 48. Howie Mandel is 57. Bobby's World I used to be able to do an imitation of Howie. I think I probably still could, but I'm not going to try. Jerry Lawler, 68, he's that boxing guy. And I liked it. Whatever happened to Gary Shandling? I like Gary Shandling. And his show on HBO or whatever was good.
This is a good. I've never heard of him, but this is a pretty funny intro.
Gary Shandling has a good show.
I was going to say, I don't even recognize them.
Two great authors that Garrett and Denise will not be able to recognize.
Yeah,
Oh, I know
Probably not.
C.S.
C.S. Lewis.
From his days at the.
Louisa May Alcott, Little Women. Dun, 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 dun. Narnia!
I know the book.
The Lion,
Narnia!
the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
There you go.
I knew I was forced to read something by him.
I knew Anderson High School would come through. Forecast today is going to be sunny, high of 52. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 58. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 59. How do you like this? We're in the 50s. I like that.
I just got out my winter coats. Really. I mean.
Really?
I did. Isn't that weird?
Well,
Run down
it's
this morning.
November.
Yeah.
It's late November.
I think that's weird.
It'd be weird if it was like July.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well.
it was July. You got a quick traffic report? Is there anything going on?
You know what? There was one accident out there, and that is on Reading at the Norwood Lateral, so watch for that. But other than that, that's the only accident being reported right now.
All right. I was listening to some great music on the way in here. I listened to my 4 favorite Fleetwood Mac songs. I listened to one by U2. And the last song that I listened to was this song, which will be the first musical selection from Bulldog Nation on ClassX. Oh, by the way, did you see us? You know what? Bill Spry's smart for hiring me. We made the newspaper yesterday about the bridge battle, and they referenced the radio station and the call signs, baby.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Spry, baby.
Spry's loving it.
And you know what? We're going to dedicate this
Spry's
song
got
to something.
that thing.
Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to dedicate this song. Everybody says I bash the president all the time. I'm going to tell you something. We're going to dedicate this song to President Barack Hussein Obama. This is for you, Prez. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Anything going on in traffic?
We're still dealing with the one accident, and that is Reading, right at the Norwood Lateral. So if you're traveling through that area, watch for that. Other than that, that's the only problem that's out there.
All right.
Not a bad start.
We're going to do a jackwagon to Obama and his cabinet members. They gave Susan Rice a round of applause at a cabinet meeting after the boss said how proud he was. Guess who wasn't clapping? Leon Panetta was not clapping.
I think we've got the.
Oh, that looked good. How about this? Arizona Governor Jan Brewer now brings the total states of 17 who have informed the feds they're not going down the Obamacare road. Not happening. One of our interesting facts today in the newsletter is up to 15 tons of meteorite fragments slam into Earth every year. Only 7 people have ever been struck by space rocks. Now I want to know, were any of them like the Wile E. Coyote with the anvil, like driven into the ground, or just like Nick with a little pebble or something? Does anybody know? Anyone? Anyone? And Richard Lyon Nixon made a written promise to his wife he would never run for public office in 1954. But after he showed it to her, he folded it and tucked it into his wallet. Tricky there. I just decided, Bulldog, that I wanted to run one more time. I never could believe that I was president. And this is the age-old question: why do hot dogs come in packages of 10 and buns in 8? That is goofy. Makes no sense whatsoever.
So you have to buy 2 packs of buns.
And do you know why short naps are called cat naps? Mm-hmm.
No, why?
Cats sleep 80% of their lives. Wow.
No, my cat kills things 80% of the day.
Wow. Apparently they sleep in like real short cycles. Like they sleep, wake up, sleep, wake up.
Kind of you.
Yeah, like I do. I'm a cat, baby.
You're like a cat?
All right, we have a rest in peace. Remember that motivational speaker way before Garrett's time called Zig Ziglar?
No idea who this guy is.
Died in Texas. Oh, good. A number of years ago. Tell us, Zig.
Pretty boring. Let me just
Boring, kill that. $579 million Powerball. I guess me and my law office won't be quitting today. 2 winning tickets, one in Arizona and one in Missouri. You know what, I have to admit this. When somebody wins, I thank God they're like not living around here. When you want to just be jealous as hell.
Well, at least you.
I
You
would
told me
be.
yesterday that the most lottery winners come from Indiana, and I'm like, you know what? It does kind of seem like they always some
Oh.
small town, you know,
Middle of nowhere.
corner market.
It
in
makes you want to
Indiana.
go somewhere in the middle of nowhere and buy a ticket, you know.
What would you do if you won? Would you move? Would you? You said you wouldn't quit.
No, I'd be doing the same thing I'm doing now, except I would get 8 hours of sleep.
Oh, I'd be in freaking Los Angeles. I have 6 properties.
6 girls. I'm gonna go
Six,
take
six
6
properties.
girls.
What would
Six
you?
girls.
Oh, one
I'd probably
property
have
for
a
each girl.
place in London, L.A., Cincinnati, maybe. Florida somewhere.
The Riviera.
Nantucket. He's just going all over the place.
There once was a man from Nantucket named Jarrett.
I can't even think of what I would do. I mean, I really, it's just so far fetched that I just, you know, why even dream about it?
That 2.5 Men guy, Angus T. Jones, is not going to return next year. And Rainn Wilson from The Office spoofed him.
This is funny, listen. This is pretty good.
Dwight is funny. He's one of the funniest characters. My
Hold on. Promotes it.
my son gave me a Dwight poster, and it's got Dwight. D. Determined. W. I forget, but this is so stupid,
Yeah,
man.
it's got-
Every one of them is like
You
funny.
need to bring it in. We need to hang it
You know
up
what?
in
That's
here.
a great point,
We
Remind.
need to
I gotta
bring it
bring
in
Dwight in here. We got you.
It's
got
perfect
scenes
place.
like
Dwight's perfect for in here.
He just keeps promoting.
Shia LaBeouf, the actor, has reportedly fallen for his 19-year-old nymphomaniac movie co-star Mia Goth. You know, I guess if you're making a movie called Nymphomaniac, jeez, old baby.
I thought you were saying that's what she was. That he
Jimmy
felt.
Buffett has sold his cheeseburger in paradise restaurants
What?
for 23 for 11 million. That's called taking a haircut. Jessica Simpson's pregnant again. How fat will she get this time?
Oh my gosh. And her baby's like 7 months old, so I'm like.
Tracy Atkins, a little controversy because he had a Confederate flag earpiece.
Oh, that's big hillbilly. You know what? Let me tell you.
Ain't nothing
something.
wrong with Tracy Atkins.
Oh, he's a big hillbilly. I see people in Kentucky all the time with those Confederate flag license plates and the big thing on the back of their windshield. It's like, God, just.
I don't.
People with truck nuts.
That's enough with Tracy
That's what we're
Atkins.
getting.
I've had
That's
enough
we're
of
getting
that.
a dog for
Hillbilly.
Christmas. Big
Demi Moore is allegedly dating a 26-year.
I'm a big racist on the back of your car.
50-year-old is apparently dating a 26-year-old alt art dealer named Vito Schnabel. Vito Schnabel.
Schnabel.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a curator or something.
And
He's
Steven
24.
Tyler has apologized to Nicki Minaj. I'm sorry, Nicki. I'm sorry.
It's a moment.
Why don't you say one more time, Steven?
It's
It's a
not. He
singer.
doesn't have his lyrics.
I
in
actually
there.
agree with him there. Nicki's a
Yes.
moron.
I can't stand Nicki Minaj.
Black people are too quick to call white people racists
Yes, they are.
when they get criticized for something that has nothing to do with that. Some
That's
of
right.
them. Most of them, I guess, are.
You know who racist? Todd Portune is racist. He's suggesting to raise the sales tax from 6.5 to 6.75%. Do you believe that racist SOB's doing that? Todd Portune wanting to raise the sales tax. How racist can you get? And another racist person. A student of Stacy Schuler says he saw a naked picture of Principal George Coates on Stacy Schuler's phone. What a bunch of racists. In Elmwood Place, attorney Mike Allen's going to ask for a restraining order to take out the cameras. What a racist he is. In the drawbridge. By the way, it is said the drawbridge is closing after 42 years.
Yeah.
My Uncle Jerry's pride and joy. He's been out of it for a long time. My dad's been out of it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now.
You're gonna have to find somewhere new to have your Halloween party now, aren't you?
We'll just go somewhere else.
I guess.
So we have it at the
And we-
Deters family
You
mansion.
know, we should have trashed the place if we knew it was going to be the last place, you know. By the way, those Elmwood cameras, you're stuck with them, folks. They have already passed constitutional muster. There's nothing we can do. Did you pick this song out?
Yeah, I thought it was on your original list. But you know
No.
what? It's on Spry's list because we didn't do songs.
No, we've played this song 100 times, and we'll play it again.
I don't think we.
Yes,
What
we
is
have.
it?
It's a good song. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, we'll be back with some more radio superbity. Until then, this is Manfred Mann, the Mighty Quinn on ClassX Radio. Great. The Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Let's check in with Blondie to see if there's anything going on in traffic.
You know what? We're still just dealing with that one accident. It should be in the cleanup stages by now, but that is on Reading Road, right at the Norwood Lateral, so it could cause a little bit of a problem in that area. The rest of the traffic, you know, it's still pretty early, so pretty quiet out there.
Does anybody know what this Mike Tyson one-man show is? He's coming March 24th to U.S. Bank. Does he shadow box himself? Or does he get up there and he talks like this? Hey, could Chad Johnson please join me on stage? Could you talk like me too?
I thought he was coming to fight you.
No, I'd kick his ass.
He's washed up by this point.
You know, when I just read that too, and I
What's his
was thinking
one-man
of the
show?
Charlie Sheen thing. Remember how he?
Oh,
was on that?
God, that was
Probably somewhere he just gets up there and
I
talks.
am Mike Tyson. Look, I got pigeons with me.
You know the.
Look, you
worst
like my
part is
pigeons?
People are
And this,
going.
and I was gonna put this tattoo over my whole face, but I stopped right after this part.
Can I change something in traffic? Because they just closed that road. They just closed Reading, right at the lateral.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reading's closed.
Right at the lateral. So if you're getting ready to get on the lateral, you might take a different direction.
Covington's gonna start licensing landlords. Man, I tell you right now,
Really?
Covington's like the worst place in the world to do business.
Good, then I won't buy anything there.
A 19-year-old Mike, this would be so embarrassing to get caught. Most men have been voyeurs, most boys have been voyeurs, but you can't get caught. Michael Peterson Jr. was arrested at a restroom in UC. He was observing a female student showering. Mm-hmm.
Really, most boys do that? Have you done that before?
I have been a voyeur before.
Okay, Garrett.
Thanks. I don't know if I've had the opportunity. I definitely would have taken advantage.
See, he would have.
Maybe you didn't have it. Okay, well
Hole in
that's.
the locker room.
Miss
You guys don't learn
Ballbreaker.
drill.
Miss Ballbreaker. That's a classic. Get it, Porky's?
What?
Oh,
Porky's. You didn't see that movie?
What is that,
Maybe
Animal
not.
House?
Oh my God! Even before. Garrett is 16.
You
24.
know,
You've never seen the movie Porky's?
No.
It's a classic.
What? When did it come out? 1960?
These guys are looking at these girls in the shower, okay? And the one guy named Pee Wee, they're not letting look in, okay? So then these are hot girls in there taking a shower, but then they realize what's going on, and they leave. Well, this big fat gym teacher called Miss Ballbreaker comes walking in. So they tell Pee Wee, hey, she's coming over. He doesn't know his ball to put his willy whacker where they were looking, okay? And Miss Ballbreaker comes over and grabs a hole.
on the other side of the hole. Let's just put it the hole.
Yeah,
I think I described it as sufficiently enough to these chicks on me.
I don't know, because he was sitting there looking going.
Louisville is moving to the ACC in 2014, like anybody cares.
You know, I do because I wish it was UC. The Big East is becoming the new Conference USA.
It is.
It's
Conference USA sucked.
And now the ACC isn't looking to add anybody else, so UC maybe in a couple of years, but they just saw Louisville football and basketball
as a better combo, which it really is.
Les Miles, a day after they report Arkansas's big deal, he takes a raise at LSU and stays. Bears wide receiver Brandon Marshall says NFL players use Viagra
Isn't that funny?
to give them an
We were
edge.
talking about it.
What the heck's Viagra got to do with
They
playing
said
football?
it thins your blood. Like it thins your blood, and it's.
Well, that's how you get things
I
flowing
don't
to the
know.
willy wagger.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
He said he didn't do it, but he's seen other guys do it.
Detroit Lions defensive tackle Dominic Sue,
And Domicon.
Domicon, or whatever the frick his name is.
He's a jackwagon.
He's fined $30,000 for his kick on Matt
Did you
Shaw.
see that on Christmas or
Yes.
on Thanksgiving Day?
Yes.
What did you think?
On
Intentional?
purpose. On purpose.
It looked like it.
The Nets beat the Celtics 95-83, and guess what? Rajon Rondo, pushes Chris Humphries after a foul on Garnett.
In the face. Humphreys, this is the one that dated Kardashian.
Yeah, he's a
or
wuss.
Married him.
He's a wuss.
Rondo's a little pistol too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd take Rondo on that any day of the week,
Oh,
Rondo.
Trace, Kentucky
Because he went to
boy,
UK, you know, and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, American jury,
Horrible school.
last night we're sad to report that the Duke Blue Devils, a team we all hate, beat the Ohio State Buckeyes
No, we
73
don't.
to 68.
Go Coach K.
Ohio 69, St. Bonaventure 64, Marshall 70, Morehead State 67, Eastern District of Kentucky, practice law in Eastern Kentucky 84, Delaware State 51. Today's games, I gotta make sure I tell the wife, 7 p.m. UK plays Notre Dame. Football, Louisville at Rutgers on ESPN at 7:30, and the NFL tonight, New Orleans and Atlanta.
It's gonna be a good game.
Be a good
I'm looking forward
game.
to watching that.
That's a
Both
good
teams
game.
Pretty hot.
Absolutely. Anything else going on in sports you want to comment on, Mr. Sports Guy?
No, it's great. I love Thursday when Thursday rolls around because that's like when the start of the
It's
weekend.
the lead. You're right. It's the lead in. We're going to have my Christmas party on Office Christmas Party December the 13th, which is a Thursday, 2 Thursdays from now, because you can always stumble. So if you
Not
guys,
today, not next Thursday, but the following.
correct.
Okay.
So if you all want to come,
I'll
you're
be
not
there.
allowed to bring your spouses or significant others.
We don't have any spouses. or
Easy for
significant
me.
others.
Well, then you guys can be a date. All right, Arctic sea
I
ice.
think I'll go alone.
A new report says that an area as big as the United States has melted this year. Now I got to ask this question of Denise here, although I've never seen her in high heels. They are reporting, podiatry surgeons are reporting an uptick on the amount of women who are undergoing surgical procedures to fit into shoes better, including having the pinky toe removed just to fit in high heels.
No.
That's
No,
messed
That
up.
is messed up. I mean, your feet get messed up from wearing heels.
Feet are disgusting.
Why do women wear high heels?
Because men like them.
I
No,
don't.
they don't. I don't.
I don't
Really?
care.
I don't
Well, you
care
know
less
what? Maybe
you
the
do.
women like them. Look what I have on. You can't get
are
any
ugly.
flatter than that.
Put some heels on.
Does Jason like high heels?
I don't
Now,
know.
what did Jason say
Dude,
about
ask
that
him
last
and
night?
see. I have no.
What about last night? What did he say about him last night?
I didn't have any high heels.
If
So you were together. You're admitting that you were together last evening.
I didn't have. I don't have. He lives in Carrollton.
Now, what's that got to do with the fact that he lived in Carrollton? Were you or were you not together last night?
So
They were together.
From Carrollton.
Together.
I didn't say that we. I didn't say I
What's
didn't
that
see him
song?
last night.
Me and you
And
I
you
just
and
said I didn't
me
wear any heels.
together. Yeah.
That's- you know, I
That's
heard
gonna
that
be
the
your theme
Turtles-
song.
the Turtles?
Turtles. That's gonna be your theme song.
Is that what it
you
is?
and you and the Prince of Carrollton.
Okay.
Hey, you know what?
Speaking of the Prince of Carrollton,
Get a foot doctor on tomorrow because I have to ask him a question about my personal health. Thank you.
speaking of the Prince of
If there's a
Carrollton,
foot doctor out there, please call.
ED medicine is being prescribed, Cialis, for oxygen-starved muscles with people with muscular dystrophy. So guys, if you're looking for an excuse to get the Cialis, tell your wife you think you got muscular dystrophy.
That's
Maybe
not,
that's what the
that
NFL
is not
players should
even
use.
funny. That's
Hey man, my muscles ain't working very good right now. I'm a little concerned about things. What song do we got, buddy?
Let's go with that Dishwalla, counting blue cards. I think you're going to recognize this one.
You think I will? Is it 4 minutes?
Yeah, it's good to go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, American Jury, this is a Garrett chosen song from the Spry collection.
Great.
Remember, guys, you got muscular dystrophy, you need to get some Cialis on ClassX Radio.
WKCX, Crittenden, 89.3, WYNS, Winsville. ClassX, the new breed of rock.
This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Hey, did you hear? This is funny. Somebody sent me this about the Hostess bakery plants, shutting down, and all those employees. They say the State Department hired all the Twinkies, the Secret Service hired all the ho-hos, the generals are sleeping with the cupcakes, and the voters sent all the ding-dongs to Congress.
That's pretty funny, though.
That is
You know
pretty
what I
funny.
was going to say? You guys aren't laughing. I'm the only one laughing, so I must be a...
Obama says he's flexible on tax rates on the wealthy. You know what?
Flexible?
What do you?
How
You know
can
what? What does it say
determine-
about a man? What does it say about a man who wants to tax at a higher rate another man? I want to tax you. I just thought of a rant subject. Are you? Wait. We need to find this clip one day. It's pretty famous. It's been played constantly. But it's pretty amazing how Barack Obama, I just don't get this. Barack Obama, when we were at 2008, we were at $9 trillion in debt. Went on a rampage, July 2008, about George Bush adding $5 trillion to our debt and how unpatriotic it was and so forth and so on. How in the hell does that same person deal with the fact that he's added 7 in 4 years and it's now 16 trillion? In other words, if 9 trillion national debt is unpatriotic, what the hell 16 trillion? I don't get it. I don't get it. What else do we have in the political front? Republican Congressman Tom Cole says Republicans should approve the deal to give 98% of Americans an extension of the Bush tax breaks. Boehner disagrees. Says he's a wonderful friend of mine, a great supporter, but raising taxes on the 2%, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about the bridge, Boehner? The bridge. We want the bridge. Prince Pitt's Bridge, Boehner. What is your position on the bridge? Revenue on the table. That's the new tax increase code. Revenue on the table. Balanced approach. That's Obama's words. Balanced approach. Are you, John? Are you going to work with the president? I hate that word too. The American people. American people. The American people demand. Demand. Guess what, dipwad? The Republicans and Democrats gave us the quote-unquote fiscal cliff. You agreed to the fiscal cliff. Now you want to avoid what you created. I want you to come on this show, Boehner. What is your position on the bridge? The bridge. You know what? I can't stand listening to any of them. I just can't stand it anymore. How about this? Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine wants John Kerry and not Susan Rice to be the ambassador. What do you think of that? You see that, Garrett? Number 66 down there? Did you see that?
I did.
And you know what? A Republican wanting Kerry. Why don't you talk a little slower?
Sorry. very shaky.
Thank you. That's enough of you,
I
Susan.
was
That's
just gonna
enough
say,
of you.
how old is she? Is that the?
You got something wrong with old people?
No, but did you see it? Just hear how shaky her voice was.
Man, she's unsure of
She's just a
herself.
slow talker.
Carl Rove says in the past 4 years, Obama has spent $650 billion more than the Congressional Budget Office forecast. Wow, wow, wow. It's crazy. Healthcare entitlements. The best way to rein in Medicare and Medicaid is to speed up and extend the Affordable Care Act. Ain't gonna happen, New York Times. It's not gonna happen. Now here's something right down old Garrett's path. The Telegraph. Zurich, Switzerland. By the way, I was in Zurich, Switzerland when I was 13 years old. With hopes of ending street prostitution, Zurich will open garage-like drive-in sex boxes in an industrial part of the city and require prostitutes to buy licenses. They'll also have to pay $3.30 each night to use their individual garage. This is a good idea, man. You drive up to a garage.
There is no
Denise,
way.
You go into a car.
No way.
Weekend getaway.
In a garage.
Do you guys have an individual
Not
garage?
just in a
Bed?
van down by the river and this time.
Hey, Farley.
my van.
Hey, Farley, have you ever had sex in that van down by the
Of
river?
course I have. Right there in the back. I don't have any.
Seriously?
I got a couch there in the back.
Bill Spry says 80 bidders have signed confidentiality agreements to bid for Hostess's brands. That's pretty good. You know, how do you beat? I mean, those are good brands. I mean,
Yeah.
every one of those products is a good brand.
Yeah, we can't lose Twinkies and
Hostess.
Think of how much
Cupcakes.
publicity it'll drum up for them when they come back.
Yeah. How about this? Argentina, we think we got a problem. Argentina credit has been cut from a B to a double C, a loss of 5 notches.
Soon it'll
You're
go
like
to
one step
double
away
D.
from the default. I mean, they're ready to go to a double D. They're done. Double C. America, we're just a double A now. I got
All
hey,
sizes.
why is it that it's reversed? And instead of like double D big boobs down to single A, when you got triple A, when you're flat chested, you're doing well. But when you get to double D, your economy's in shambles. Well, can't they be consistent and have bra sizes go the same direction?
What are you, Denise?
Stop it.
I was just gonna say.
I'll tell you my size.
Yeah, I
Oh
bet
my
you're.
God.
He's probably
What's
bigger
your
than I
man
am.
boob? What's your
isn't he?
man boob size?
Are you bigger than I am?
For sports bra?
For a sports bra?
Or the
You would wear a
man's
sports
ear?
bra?
What music do we have lined up? Can you give me a hint?
The final
Countdown
countdown.
by
Sing
Europe.
it.
Well, let's hit it. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, American Jury on ClassX Radio. This is Europe, the final countdown. Got some great rants coming up, or what we like to call pure Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Late breaking news. Well, before I get to my late breaking news, I'm going to let you give us an update on traffic, Denise.
Yeah, we had talked a little bit earlier about an accident, and that was on Reading Road, right at the Norwood Lateral. That was actually a school bus that had overturned with special needs students on it, and they're reporting that there was only one person that sustained minor injuries. But
Thank
again,
God.
they yeah, I know that's a pretty scary morning for them. Actually, on WCPO's website, it showed the bus laying on its side in the picture. There are a couple of other accidents, southbound 71 at Ronald Reagan, and another one with injuries on Galbraith at Montgomery Road. So a couple of problems out there, and traffic's starting to pick up. So and slow down. So watch for that. But it looks like they have at least gotten the everybody off of the bus and out of the way there, and working on getting that all reopened for you there on on Reading, right at the Norwood Lateral. There.
Spit it out,
I
spit
can
it
get
out.
I can get it out. I know that M&M kind of got in the way.
All right, William gave us some late breaking news. Lindsay Lohan allegedly punched a woman in a Manhattan bar at 4:30 a.m. and as of 6:30 a.m. she's still behind bars. Lindsay.
It's a shame.
She told that judge she was going to stop partying and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? She lied.
Maybe she was just picking up a friend and
She lied.
dispute broke out.
Maybe not. She lied. Why do they lie about these things? You know?
No, I don't know.
And it's always...
She's always in trouble, though.
She's always in
You know,
trouble.
and she was just in the movie Listen Dick. She did a great job about Elizabeth Taylor. But, I mean, and she really did a good job. I was actually surprised. I didn't really realize it was her. My daughter wanted to watch it.
Well, she's not doing a good job
No,
now.
she's not. That's a shame.
I want to tell everybody that if you like listening to some great radio superbity, tune in every morning at 88.9 FM or 89 FM, right next to each other. The New Breed of Rock, ClassX Radio. Also, you can listen to us on ClassXRadio.com and the BulldogsNation.com live video simulcast. Also, my blog is up on the BulldogsNation.com, ClassX.com, and my Facebook page. You get a free newsletter if you sign up for free at eric@ericdeters.com. And we have all kinds of fun for you every morning. You can also text me or email me at 859-250-2527 or email me at eric@ericdeters.com. Any ideas you've got for the show or anything like that. The Michigan governor says they do not rule out dissolving the city of Detroit. It's that bad in the good old Detroit. And if you don't think taxes don't affect, what happens and how people decide what to do with their lives, they say 2/3 of millionaires left Britain to avoid a 50% tax rate. Folks, it's not a good idea, and it's not good for a country to lose 2/3 of your rich people, because you're going to have less money, less capital, plain and simple. It really is that simple. And I'm going to find for you an article that's in the Wall Street Journal today, an editorial. And this tells you a little bit about taxes. Perhaps you've heard from various economic sages that tax rates don't matter, either to economic growth or taxpayer behavior. Don't tell that to companies and individuals who are busy cashing out their investments or paying dividends to get ahead of the Obama tax in January. And we all know that these international corporations, American corporations, have established offices overseas to avoid the 35% corporate tax rate. Get this, Costco, the giant wholesale club operator, announced Wednesday it will pay a special dividend of $7 a share before the end of the year. That's about $3 billion the company will return to shareholders that the feds will only tax at 15% rather than the 39.6% rate scheduled to kick in when the Bush-era tax rates expire next year. The Journal reports that as of Wednesday morning, 173 companies had announced special dividends, compared to only 72 the same period last year. I find no precedent like this at all, going all the way back to the 1950s. Unbelievable. Steve Wynn, the casino magnate. When the taxes on the dividends are too high, then companies don't distribute. The shareholders don't get the dividends, and Uncle Sam doesn't get the tax. Tax revenue from capital gains in 1986 soared to $52.9 billion and dropped to $33.7 billion in 1987. When government, listen closely, boys and girls. When government raises taxes on dividends and capital gains, which is going to go up to 39.8 from 15% in January, it is lowering the after-tax return on stocks. Share prices will fall over time to adjust to that new rate of return, reducing overall wealth in the private economy, all things being equal. And then this is it right here. Listen closely. It's the oldest, it's the oldest lesson in tax policy. Tax something and you will get less of it. In this era when envy trumps growth, the government is raising taxes on thrift, investment, and risk-taking in the name of fairness and to finance more government spending. No one should be surprised when there are fewer dividends and capital gains to tax. You know, that's the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. And I crack up when you have these so-called smart people like Timothy Geithner and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi who act like you can increase taxes and there not be consequences like this. It's amazing. I'm going to read this again. The oldest lesson in tax policy. Tax something and you will get less of it. In this era, when envy trumps growth, the government is raising taxes on thrift, investment, and risk-taking in the name of fairness and to finance more government spending. No one should be surprised when there are fewer dividends and capital gains to tax. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, when you reduce taxes and you create economic growth, what happens is you have more taxpayers. You have more income to tax. Might be a lower rate, but it doesn't make any difference. It's a pretty basic concept. You could increase tax revenue by decreasing rates. If only I was president. If only I was president. But I'm not, folks. You're stuck with the man you got. Are you happy about it, Garrett?
Nope. You voted for him,
Stuck
people.
with the man that somebody voted for anyway.
That coalition of women, youngsters,
Will you quit categorizing
blacks,
all of us?
Hispanics,
No,
liberals,
it's all you.
socialists,
Well, you're in that young teenage.
I know I am.
College.
women,
So we have a bunch of morons
women.
my age, except for me.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Now, you know what's funny? It's like, we are kind of, we're different than everybody else. All my friends, save for one, out of maybe the 10 people I roll with on a regular basis, 9 of us voted Romney.
Really?
1 Obama. Mom, straight Romney.
Yeah.
Denise, Romney. Like, just seems like everybody I hang out with and know is a Romney.
Yeah, so who
Or
voted
it's
for
weird.
Obama?
Where'd
Where'd that come from? How
My
do
mom's
you?
family or sisters.
There you go.
Hippie.
You did.
Sister.
What the hell is Romney and Obama going to talk about?
Could you imagine
How-
what that lunch would be like?
Awkward.
Awkward and just.
How they can get along.
After
That's
trashing each other for so
That's
long.
Yeah.
how they can get along. Isn't that good? Wouldn't that be weird?
I mean, Romney ran
You
a
call-
much cleaner, just didn't take stabs at
Ran on the facts. Obama's
Yeah.
record was terrible. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, this is an underboss request, and we're going to give it to him. This is Steelers Wheel, stuck in the middle with you on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. How about a traffic report?
Okay, while you eat your cookie, I'll give them a traffic report. It's breakfast time in here. Southbound on 7175. Now this is in the southbound direction, right at Buttermilk. There's actually a vehicle fire that has the ramp closed. So again, that is southbound 7175 at the Buttermilk ramp. That is blocked right now due to a car on fire. Also an accident southbound 71 at Ronald Reagan. So watch for that. That is actually on the right shoulder. It is just a little south, actually, of the Pfeiffer on-ramp. So if you're coming off onto 71, it's just as you get on to 71. An accident with injuries on Galbraith at Montgomery. You've got one there, southbound 75 Union Center. Your traffic is slow as well there, all the way from Tylersville, so you're really slow. North Bend at Shady Lane, you have an accident there. And Carolina Trace at Carolina Pines, an accident.
Wow.
Carolina and Carolina.
If you are a fortunate radio listener at this very moment, you are in for a treat because, you know, sometimes the light just comes on so clear for me, and then I get to share with you what has been illuminated in my brain. You know, I spoke last week about the difference between an employer and an employee, and that the reality is that an employer is more important than an employee. Why? Because an employer employs more than one person. In other words, one person can begin a company that employs 100. Well, who's more important? It's pretty simple. The employer. And one of the reasons why is because the employer takes risk. that an employee doesn't. An employer has greater responsibility than an employee. An employer has greater stress than an employee. I mean, it's that simple. I am amused at the way this country has just, all of a sudden, it seems like overnight. And it's a cultural thing. It really is a cultural thing. And there are things that I want to say on this radio program that I can't say. But I want to say them. And the reality of it is that the culture of this country has moved in a direction that it's never gone before. And there's a reason for that. The cause of that, what I think the cause of that is something that I can't say. But if you look at where this country has gone culturally, it's amazing. And I'm talking about across the board. And the reason why this has been so devastating is because it's almost like we want to destroy and punish and tax and regulate anyone who stays up all night, stresses out, takes the risks, employs, and we want fair. That's what Barack Obama's, we need fair. We need to spread it around. And what I'm about ready to report to you is an indictment of where we are and sums it all up. I'm reading the New York Times at the last break, and on page A19, I come across the following article. New York is site of nation's biggest drive to unionize fast food workers. After 3 years of working at the McDonald's restaurant on 51st Street and Broadway, Outerike Hall earns $8 an hour and is yearning for something better. So when he heard about an unusual campaign that aims to unionize dozens of fast food restaurants in New York in the hope of raising wages to $15 an hour, Mr. Hall, 23, was quick to sign on. It's time for a change. It's time to put on the gloves. Now, I got to say this to Mr. Hall. You know what? I hope you find a job that pays you $15 an hour. Linda Archer earns $8 an hour after 3 years as a cashier at McDonald's. This is what this woman says. Quote, I feel I deserve 15. Now, I want Linda Archer to find a job that pays her $15 an hour. As someone who is one of the owners of Wendy's franchises and Snappy Tomato Pizza franchisor, if you doubled the fast food wage, which is really, you go 8 to 15, it's doubling. If you double the fast food wage for fast food restaurants across this country, you are in effect doubling their cost, because labor is the big number. And if you do that, the food costs and the prices would double. And probably, if those prices don't work, you're going to put them all out of business. And this is where we have come. We have come this far. You know what I'm going to do? We come back from the break. I'm going to tell you what everybody looks at as a great American success story and is not. I'm going to say something that, by the way, there won't be an FCC regulation. I'm not going to get fired, but it's going to make some people mad, and I don't care. Why we are where we are is an incredible failure of a movement which everybody looks at as a wonderful, wonderful thing in this country's history. And I'm telling you, when you have Americans who are now programmed not to say, man, this is unlimited opportunity and I can do anything I want if I do this and I do this and I do this. But we are now at the situation where everybody gets a ribbon and everybody gets a trophy symbolically no matter what the hell you do. We are disintegrating into a socialist economic disaster for America. Because then we don't have the three pillars of America: God, the Constitution, and capitalism. We have godless, lawless, and socialism. Is that the America you want to live in? It's not the America I want to live in. You know what we need more of,
What?
Denise and Garrett?
What?
We need somebody like Superman, and the only thing that could kill Superman is kryptonite.
Yeah?
There's a lot of kryptonite out there right now. This is 3 Doors Down, Kryptonite on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jerry, you're about ready to hear epic radio history made, because yours truly is going to tell it like it is, and I am going to say what you're thinking, but I'm going to say it. But before I do, traffic report, please.
All right, we still have the ramp closed on 7175 southbound right at the Buttermilk exit there. So if you're getting ready to get on, that's exit 186. That's blocked due to a vehicle fire. Also still have a car is off the roadway on southbound 75 at Union Center, so you're slow from around Taylorsville. Expect some delays, and then again you're on and off slow southbound 75 right around that Ronald Reagan merge, as well as the accident still in the cleanup stages there. Galbraith at Montgomery, southbound on 71 just south of the Pfeiffer ramp getting onto 71. Also, that's on the right shoulder. Then there's an accident southbound 71 at Ronald Reagan, Carolina Trace, Carolina Pines, and US 50 at Shady Lane. So plenty of little problems out there. Some aren't so little, I guess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury, I have coined the phrase, and I use it all the time, that America was based upon the 3 pillars of God, the Constitution, and capitalism, and it's the fact. Those are the cornerstones, the pillars that America was founded on. And if you look around America today, it is not a coincidence that at the same time where we have economic disaster looming and 16 trillion in debt and more godlessness, less capitalism, less constitutional principles. I mean, we've got the watering down of God, the watering down of capitalism, the watering down of the Constitution, and government function, no longer traditional government function. I mean, when you got the federal government involved in issues that government was not meant to be involved in, there's something wrong. In our country also, we stayed out of quote-unquote foreign entanglements unless it was in our national security interests. And you also have the watering down of the family. Less God, less capitalism, less Constitution, more government, less family, more foreign entanglements that have nothing to do with our national security. How did we get there? Why do we find ourselves in this place? And I have said this in stronger terms privately, but I'm going to say it publicly. No matter what happens in your life, everything has a downside, there's a reaction. In other words, let's say, for example, you work hard. Now, you might work hard. Well, if you work hard, it can affect family life, friendships. Let's say that you are someone that wants to go serve in the military. That's a wonderful thing, but you know what? It can have consequences at home. No matter what you do, there is a flip side. There is a reaction. Every action, there is a reaction. And in my opinion, the reason why we have less God, less capitalism, less constitution, more government, less family, more foreign entanglements, is based upon the movements in this country that created the mentality of this. We have to force equality. And what I mean by that is this. First, let's discuss the civil rights movement. Now, the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, love the guy. Hero of mine. Have a bust of him in my lobby, okay? The civil rights movement, which gave, in Lincoln, they depict the wonderful passage of the 13th Amendment. There's not a racial bone in my body. I think blacks should have equal rights. I think in America today, they do. More than ever. I represent blacks who get shot, tased, killed, charged with crimes. All right? The gay rights movement. All right? Big movement. More gay rights. We've now reached a point to where, hey, they get married. I was asked by a buddy of mine to celebrate on the radio the passage of the American Disabilities Act. I got a brother who's got cerebral palsy. And I think the American Disabilities Act was, and this is funny, Rand Paul got in trouble for making a comment about it. But as I've explained before, the cost to the economy is incredible. And I've never known anybody in one of our Wendy's or BP's that has known anybody that's ever came in a wheelchair and used our restrooms. Ever. But you know what? I'm the kind of guy, and I think our employees are the kind of people that if we had regular bathrooms and somebody came in a wheelchair and needed a restroom, everybody would roll out the red carpet to help that person out. Because that's what you do. That's what good Americans did. The women's rights movement, another movement. Women's rights, equal rights, equal rights. Fine with me. I got daughters. Married to a woman. Got sisters. Hey, they want to be lawyers, let them be lawyers, so forth and so on. But I want to, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Oh, we got to make sure everybody got their, more. Level that playing field. I always like to use this example. If you go back to, first of all, Social Security and all these other things that were passed, like under FDR, they were supposed to be short term, but we just kept them around. But you know what? America was great in the 1890s, 1900s, 1910. America was a great country in the 1940s, 1950s. When you look at all the things that we have done in America, America was great before we had all this more government. This is my point, this is the drum roll of my point is this. In my humble opinion, the backlash and the negative aspect of the gay rights movement, things like the American Disabilities Act, the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Bush and the Democrats joining together to give free prescription drugs to everybody. The backlash is we have created in this country, with the young people especially, who have lived with this, and let's face it, 66% of those under 30 voted for Obama and elected him. They feel this sense of entitlement and equality, equality not based upon your creed, the color of your skin, your gender. No, equality because by golly, it's fair. And what happens is it infects like a cancer the minds of young people and middle-aged people and everybody else to where it's like, we need everybody to be equal and fair. And that has been a very negative backlash of all these equality movements in America, which all have a noble goal. But the negative side effect of all of them is what's created the mentality of the under 30 mind and others. I mean, union workers, they come in all shapes and sizes and ages. That's another group. And where they get off on acting like they should get anything and everything just because. No, you have to earn things in America. You have to work things for America. You got to stay in school. You don't get to drop out and make as much money as a lawyer. You don't get to be a lazy ass and not make as much money as a doctor. You don't get to be a lazy ass and go start a company. And you don't tax the hell out of the guy that works 20 hours a day to start the company to make it fair for you. And you don't unionize fast food workers and double their salaries and destroy another American industry, just like we're destroying everything else. It's like a parasite. It's a disease. It's the host that latches on and eats, and eats. It's like killing the golden goose. It's like killing what you really want. It makes no sense. And that's why America today is effed up. The side effects of all the equality movements is the reason why we are where we are. The Bulldog on ClassX Radio for your listeners. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Do we have a traffic report?
We do. There's some accidents still out there. Southbound 71, they're still saying that one's out there at Ronald Reagan. Also southbound 75 at Union Center. That car was off of the roadway. Traffic's still slow from around Tylersville, but then again, it is the busiest time of the day. Still have the accident on US 50 at Shady Lane. They've reopened the ramp at Buttermilk onto southbound 7175. But there is another accident on 7175 right around Buttermilk, and it's on the shoulder. That is southbound, so it's in the same direction, right near the same exit, but the ramp is reopened.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I'm going to pick up where I left off. I observe that in America today, there are so many things that if you went back in our society in like 1950s and 60s and 70s, we deal with on such a better level. Some of those things are domestic violence. In other words, it used to be that domestic violence happening inside a home, yeah, too bad. Well, we deal with that in a better manner than we used to. Although even that has yielded lots of craziness. We deal with the issue probably of teenage pregnancy better than we used to. There's a lot of social ills that we deal with on a better issue, on a better way. But I want to keep going with this cultural breakdown in America. And it cracks me up because I would say that, I'm 49 years old. I was born in 63. Grew up in the 70s and 80s. And I'm very confident that parents would look at their kids that are my age and say to themselves, that music they're listening to and the things that they're doing and so forth and so on. But in reality, we weren't any different than our parents. Well, our kids today are much different than our parents. And I'm talking about my own. See, I see this not just as some guy who thinks he's self-righteous, looking down upon the world. I can turn inside my own home, and I have a liberal daughter who is a product of all that brainwashing of equality. You know, I have a son who the music that he listens to makes me cringe. I mean, the idea that a kid would turn on music, like while he's working out, that he knew his parent could hear, that would be having MF this and MF this and MF this, and I gotta say, turn that off. I had a daughter that had a pregnancy out of wedlock. Now, unconditional love, like a good parent, Riley's a wonderful, wonderful gift from God and a blessing. But at the same time, I'm able to say that in the way that it's supposed to be done, and that's not the way it should be done. And she would even admit to you that, and she would admit, thank God that she has parents like she has, so forth and so on. The internet age, the porn industry, the accessibility to it from the computers, incredible, the breakdown, the exposure to sex of young people compared to my exposure of sex as a teenager, night and day. Night and day. The loss of innocence that happens in this country at such a young age is incredible. Education. The lack of education and the focus and the dropouts. I mean, you heard the statistic that only 59% of those in Washington, D.C. schools graduate from high school. The breakdown in the family, the prescription drug problem, the illegal drug problem. It goes on and on. The African American black community and what goes on there, I find, how should I say this? I find it, my intellectual curiosity just can't help itself. And when I think that 93% of blacks voted for Barack Obama, when the unemployment rate doubled, their home values, their cut, you know, I think the household value of a black household like decreased by 50% or Obama. I mean, there are incredible statistics. Black on black crime through the freaking roof. And what do you have represented? Look who dominates. Dominates. I'll go ahead and say it. Dominates pop culture. Black community. Rap music dominates the young people in this country. And what is being said through rap music? The hoes, the shooting, the boom, 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 boom. And I want to stress this. I'm not talking about all of it. I'm talking about it collectively. And that, so we have that going on. But the African American community dominates pop culture today. Now people say, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Well, nothing necessarily is wrong with that, except what is being projected by that culture. What's the message that gets projected by that pop culture? And with all due respect, it's not a winning message for America. That's the way I see it. So we have a disintegration of our culture across the board, and the backlash of all these equal rights movements, gays, women, you know, all that. And look what happens. That's the coalition. That's the coalition that now controls the presidency, and we're going to get more of that. And I want to stress this to you. I am on record of making fun of the middle-aged white guys that have ran this country in the past that haven't done a very good job, particularly under George Bush. We need more people that think like me running this country. But I don't know if it'll ever happen. All right, we come back. We're going to have some more fun. This is cars. It's all I can do. All I can do is try to save America from this microphone on ClassX Radio. I'm still not. Before I get rolling again here, Denise, how about a traffic report?
Well, let me see if I can get this going here. Run over. Like I said, they've reopened the ramp there on 7175 at Buttermilk, but there is an accident right as you get onto the expressway. There's southbound 7175 at Buttermilk. Still showing the accident on US 50 at Shady Lane and southbound 75 at Union Center. They're saying that traffic's still slow from Tylersville. It is, but it really isn't as bad in front of it. So once that all clears out and everybody starts rolling, that'll get a little heavier. But it seems like the traffic's a little lighter than normal in spots out there today. Kind of wonder, it's still kind of, I guess, I don't know. You think many people are off this week after taking off last week?
That could be.
Could be, I don't know.
Could be.
So you're still not done? You're still not done on your
No, I'm not.
rant there?
No, I'm not. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I cannot believe that I did not bring this up earlier, but I've saved it for you. When everybody was talking about that the turnout was down overall from 2008, and I was the only one in America that was saying, duh! 40 states didn't matter. So if you're in Kentucky, why should you be all excited about going out to vote? And Kimberly Strassel in the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about this. And here you go. Mr. Romney beat Mr. McCain's numbers in every single battleground save Ohio. In some cases, the improvement was significant. In Virginia, 65,000 more votes in 2008. In Florida, 117,000 more votes. Colorado, 52,000 votes. In Wisconsin, 146,000 votes. In key states, Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, and Virginia, Mr. Romney turned out even more voters than George W. Bush did in his re-election in 2004. By contrast, Mr. Obama's turnout was down from 2008 in nearly every battleground. He lost 54,000 votes in Virginia, 46,000 votes in Florida, 50,000 votes in Colorado, 63,000 votes in Wisconsin, ditto Iowa, Nevada, New Hampshire, and Iowa. The only state where Obama increased his votes by 36,000 was North Carolina, and he was still beaten by Romney's campaign that raised its own turnout by a whopping 147,000 votes. In Florida, 238,000 more Hispanics voted than in 2008, and Mr. Obama got 60% of the vote. His margin of victory, 78,000 votes. What did that mean? The Hispanic vote in Florida beat Romney. Duh! Maybe you should have picked Rubio. In Ohio, Mr. Romney won independents by 10 points. But the lead mattered little. Why? The black turnout vote increased by 178,000. And while it was nationally 93%, guess what? Obama got 96% of the Ohio black vote. 96%. And some people might not be able to say it or willing to say it, but I will say it. When you have 96% of blacks voting for Barack Obama, when their unemployment doubled the last 4 years, means, and you have his record, means one thing. Race to a black voter is more important than a job and policy and record. Race trumps all. And what's hilarious is they're using that to attack people like McCain on Kimberly Rice to try to claim race. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Some more, consistent with this topic that I've been on. Federal stimulus. This is the Wall Street Journal today. Front page, main story. Federal stimulus likely in 2013. Bond buying is expected to continue in an effort to spur slow-growing economy. Those of the Bulldog Nation member that are economically challenged, just remember that a bond is debt. We talk about stocks. Stocks are equity. Bonds are debt. And you usually get bonds from municipalities, treasuries, states. You have companies that issue debt too. They finance through debt. Bonds. The United States is going to print more freaking money to stimulate the economy. These people are absolute jackwagons. And of course, the New York Times reports today that Obama's begun a public campaign on the tax standoff where he's focusing on the tax issue, not the spending issue. Which brings me to where I'd like to make another major point. I have not heard of, and I want to hear from one of these companies. Not the over 2,000 that have received a waiver. I want to hear, because I've not heard from one. You know, Obama's meeting with some small businesses, large businesses. I want to hear from one company, just one, who's excited about Obamacare. I'm talking about a company that has over 50 employees that has to deal with Obamacare, and you are all for it. You're the president, you're the chief operating officer, you're the CFO, you're the owner. Please call me or email me at eric@ericdeters.com or 859-250-2527. I need to hear from one company in America with over 50 employees that says, yes, I'm for that. And you know something that was amazing about the Romney campaign screw up? You know, they got into that thing with, you didn't build that, I didn't build that. They fell into the trap. Why? Because when they said, I built this company, all they did was accentuate and focus that Romney was the guy for all the business owners. Guess what, folks? There's more employees than business owners. Kind of ironic, isn't it? That was something stupid that Obama said, very communist and socialist, but it played right into the cards of what Axelrod and them planned anyway. Crazy. It's been you know what, folks? It's been a long time since I played this whole song, because it was part of my bumper music for over an entire year. But we're going to play the whole song, and this is the theme song for Bulldog Nation Radio and the Bulldogs Morning Show. The official, it's not Rob Jungla's Memphis thing. It's not Coldplay. It's this is the theme song. Goes all the way back to 1978. Can you guess the song?
I know the song, so you don't want me to guess it.
No, I don't want you to
You
guess.
know a lot of theme songs, I feel like.
This is the theme song.
It's the theme song. We even sent an email to
Joe Schmiotti and I used to use the 8-track tape of this song and play it over and over again in his Chevelle. This is the Bulldog Nation theme song, national theme song. Trooper, we raise a little hell. The toll bridge issues next. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio, where I deliver radio superbity every morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I regret to inform you and report to you that we do get interrupted every segment of our show with a very boring traffic report.
We haven't been up the copter in a while.
But Bill Spry makes us, so we do it.
Well, you know what? People listening to you, they need to know. They need to know what's going on.
And isn't that a song too? They need to know.
They need to know. Probably. It's probably a country song. All right. Northbound 7175, there's an accident at Buttermilk. It's blocking a lane there. You've got some slow traffic if you're approaching that area. Once you get past it, guess what? There's not a whole lot going on because everybody's kind of backed up there. Also in Newport, there's a car off of the roadway. Now that is on US 27, so Alexandria Pike. Right around Pools Creek, so watch for that. That is in the southbound direction. Again, that's more in the, it says it's in the Newport area, but again, Pools Creek is, that's a pretty long road, so not exactly sure what that's going to do to traffic this morning.
All right. We're developing a great tradition in my law office, which is I meet with all the lawyers upstairs together that are available after every show. It's kind of fun. Been doing it every day. That's how I keep a track of everything. I want everybody to know that I'm going to be filing some lawsuits over the shooting in Avondale on Wednesday shooting. Get this, you know, Chief Craig says that the camera happened not to be working, you know, during the shooting. And how about this? My guy being Robert Robert Matthews, shot in the arm. By the way, he got bonded out yesterday. Got shot in the arm, raising his hand. That's the only bullet that he took, okay? The guy that died, my other client, Dantes O'Neill, the bullet apparently went through the door and the seat that killed him. Got him in the heart.
Wow.
The guy, apparently they reported he shot like 11 or 12 times, and that was his handiwork. I'll tell you right now, these police officers, they're not very good shooting, but it begs the question, why does a guy that's got his arms raised get shot? And why does a guy get shot that's sitting in a car when they first said he got out firing, bullets? I'm telling you, I was right about the Michael Gattawa shooting in Ellesmere. It smelled, and we proved it, and this one smells too, and we will prove it. But ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I want to shift gears now to the bridge. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, it was launched, the Brent Spence Bridge. It's called the Build Our New Bridge Now Coalition. They're actually spending money on TV and radio ads beginning Tuesday, calling for the creation of a public-private partnership to explore financing options for the $2.7 billion project. Covington businessman Brent Cooper criticized that opposition. By the way, the Kentucky lawmakers have opposed it as short-sighted and bad business. President of Seaford Information Technology, Brent, delays cost his company more than $100,000 annually. That's a bunch of BS, Brent. And in fact, come on my show, Brent. We sent out challenges to how many people, Denise?
I've called 4 different places.
4 different people involved in this, okay, on the other side. Not one's got the guts to come in the studio or on phone to debate me. And by the way, if you're listening, Brent and others, you'll get the chance to tell your whole side of why you think that this is wonderful. Cracks me up.
Free airtime.
Nobody has the guts, because every time I challenge anybody to debate, heck, I had to mock police officers for 5 days about fighting me in an MMA fight before finally the poodle stepped up. It's kind of funny. I guess I'm feared. It's kind of cool. You know what? Machiavelli said, to be loved or to be feared are both nice, but if you have to choose one, it's better to be feared than loved. I personally like to be loved and feared.
Do you? Well, that's a good combination.
But isn't that funny that they won't debate me? And Jason Williams from the Inquirer covered this and put me in the story. Here was a letter to the editor by somebody. The state of Kentucky must adopt tolls as the answer to build the new Spence Bridge. Tolls are taxes, and we pay more than our fair share. Must not adopt, I apologize. Tolls are taxes, yes they are, and we pay more than our fair share with the very high gasoline taxes at the pump. The Brent Spence is a federal highway bridge, and our U.S. senators and congressmen had better get busy funding it. Amen. Now we read that the port authorities will foist taxes on us by implementing tolls. Who elected these clowns? Nobody. Let me tell you what it is. The author of this, Nick and Christy Bell of Covington, you know who it is. It's a group of individuals that are going to be owners of this government-private government partnership and make billions. Oh, here's somebody I challenge. He's my friend. I heard Pat Crowley's doing consulting work for this crowd. If that's true, hey Crowley, you ain't got the guts. I used to have Crowley on all the time as a political. He's my friend. Let's see if Crowley's got the guts to debate me on the radio. Come on, Crowley. Come on, Crowley.
There you go. You know,
I heard he's a consultant. By the way, how much does him and Fawcett and company making as the consultants for this? By the way, the idea of that company was mine. Hey, Crowley, we ought to start the company doing it. He did it without me. I'm still bitter about it. That's all right, Crowley. I'm making more money as you as a lawyer than you are a consultant. Nah, you're not a lawyer.
You know, on Facebook yesterday,
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
You know, well, don't be bitter. But just to kind of see what everybody thought, and there was maybe one positive person that, and all they said was, at least on Facebook, the only response that she said, well, if the money goes towards, the bridges. But one guy made a really good point, Carlos Fernandez, he sent this in on Facebook. The federal government rebuilt the bridges we bombed and built new ones totaling nearly 150 in Iraq and Afghanistan over the last decade. Now, to get one bridge built on the interstate here at 75 in Covington, we've spent the same decade doing studies that we've not yet issued a design, contract, or drafted the legislation to fund the construction. We're told to expect another decade before any construction can begin. I mean, it's really a good point, I mean, it's, when you think about
one of the things that I loved on my Facebook comments were the comments from the truckers who pay this federal fuels tax, a lot of federal fuels tax, which is supposed to go to construction of federal highways and bridges. And they're like, oh, so I'm paying all this fuel tax every time I fill up, and then I got to pay a toll tax too?
Well, you know what? And think about how that's going to affect us, because if they've got to pay, and you think of how many trucks, semis go back and forth across there all the time, that's going to cause everything to go up, because if all those trucking companies have to pay that.
Can you imagine? I mean, I zip across that sucker. Can you imagine the delays?
Oh my gosh. After doing traffic, that is the worst spot in 7 years.
And they can make it 5 lanes or whatever they do. It's not going to make a difference. That toll is going to make people backed up. This is not like some ancillary road. This is a main road. Michigan. I had a funny thing from Canada, the sands of Miami Beach.
Well, that's just it.
Willie liked my analogies too. By the way, just if you're just tuning in on this, Willie and I stand together on this issue. We stand together.
It's a major artery in the United States. It's just.
Yep, it's the main north-south. It is. It's the most traveled north-south, I think, certainly in the Midwest.
Right. Well, then think about it. So if somebody just travels, they have to take that direction to go to Florida from Canada, anywhere north.
Right.
So they pay a toll once a year. But if it wasn't there, what would they do?
Have you guys ever seen the movie Saving Silverman?
I have, but it's been a while.
Yes. Oh, it's a funny movie.
Yeah.
One of the top 10 comedies of all time, Saving Silverman. Neil Diamond is great in that, isn't he? He gets Lee Ermey and all them. He goes, oh, I get it. Save the Heartline. He plays. And then at the end, Holy Holly, he plays, or Holy Holly at the end of the movie. I saw Neil Diamond once in concert, and he's great. People don't realize that Neil Diamond is a great songwriter. I Am a Believer, he wrote that. He wrote all kinds of great songs. You know what's building up, don't you? Neil Diamond is rock. Neil Diamond is rock.
We're gonna hear a song.
I might sing along.
Do you really call it rock?
When he played at the Coliseum, he asked me to come on stage and sing this song with him, and I did.
Are you gonna sing with him now?
I might. I don't know. This is Cracklin' Rosie.
I think you should.
By Neil Diamond.
I think you should sing it.
I don't know. I might. I may not remember all the words.
Do you want me to look them up?
Cracklin' Rosie, young boy. Ain't no more no long.
Just sing what you know.
Slow. Oh, don't you know? Gotta like that line. Twilight train.
You need to keep singing it because everybody on the videotape can't.
Maybe a song. It's a good part right here. Oh, she's got the way to make me happy. Ooh, with me a glowing style. Cracklin' Rose, you're a store-bought woman. You make me sing like a guitar humming. Hang on to me, girl. Song keeps playing on. Now, play it now. Play it now, my baby. Cracklin'. That's enough of the Bulldog. I'm just going to give you Neil Diamond. Sports today. UK plays Notre Dame at 7 p.m. One of the few times I'll be rooting against the Irish. Got to give it up to Duke. I hate the Duke Blue Devils, but they beat the Buckeyes. Hate them. And the football game tonight's a good one. New Orleans and Atlanta. A division rivalry. And Louisville plays Rutgers in football. I'm doing this without notes, man. Is that not good? By the way, do you ever watch the two? And I used to watch these every day. And to be honest with you, I need to get back to watching them every day because I get enough news, that I watch. But I love, pardon the interruption, and the show before that, which is, help me out here.
The
Tony Reale hosted.
Yeah.
But you watch those
Around the Horn.
Around the Horn. You watch that hour of sports a day. You're up on everything that's happened in sports.
Yeah, I don't know. I follow it kind of like you follow regular stuff throughout the day. I follow sports, so I don't like those shows.
You don't? I do.
know about it already. I've got my opinions on it. Those guys are just
Douchebags.
not douche, but I mean I don't mind them so much. I get what they're doing.
I like
on the
Woody.
show.
I like Woody.
I do like Woody.
And Kornheiser and that other guy are good too.
Longtime columnist at, I think, the Denver Post or something.
Yeah, he's good.
And I want to say it might have been a couple years ago or whenever, maybe it was like when Junior Seau died. He came out and said that he battled like deep depression, suicide
I believe
for
that.
a long time.
And they had the one guy from Chicago that was had some kind of incident. They canned him. He was like the #1 guy. Him and Woody were like the two superstars of the show. He was from Chicago.
Yeah.
Came out that he was gay, and then but there was some kind of an incident. I thought he got canned.
Oh, Mariotti.
Mariotti.
Jay Mariotti.
Didn't Jay Mariotti get canned from
he's
the show?
a huge douchebag.
Yeah, something happened. Some
incident with a
some
woman.
something was
He hit
pretty
her or
bad.
something, and
Jay Mariotti.
yeah, now he's out in L.A. trying to be relevant.
Is he?
But he's not.
He's not as relevant as us here in Cincinnati, is he?
Not
Okay.
really.
All right, Denise, final traffic report while I whoop down a Snickers.
Okay, well, while you're eating that, a couple of accidents, Wooster Pike at Homewood Road and Auburn Avenue at East McMillan. Then we have Beacon at Beachmont, Queen City at Wyoming. And we still have the accident report at 7175 heading northbound around Buttermilk, but I just looked at the cameras and I don't see any traffic there or any problems on 7175.
Get it together, Anderson.
So anyway, other than that, things, as it's rolling around 9 o'clock, clearing up out there for you.
You have to wonder if guests are going to come into our studio if the first thing that greets them is Johnny Cash flipping them off.
Never
Well,
really thought about
it's
that.
just a hey.
It's
Wash
just a hey.
yourself in here.
It's just a hey, wash yourself in
The thing
here.
is that his
Don't
finger
mess
looks
with
very
us.
big.
We all talk for
Big finger.
Will you all
It's a
talk?
big middle finger.
We all talk for 5 seconds while I look at Fair and Raquel. Just 5 seconds.
Oh,
Should we
we're
have a
allowed to
moment
talk
for them?
today. No
Hey,
moments.
Denise, go ahead so I can look at Sophia.
Oh
for
my
Garrett.
gosh, are you kidding? We could have done traffic. While I was
All
on
right, I'm
traffic,
back.
you could
I'm
have said,
back.
oh, put the Snickers back in your mouth.
You know what?
We have plenty of
I've got to
snacks
bring in
and
Dwight
posters.
from the office, but we need some more icons in here. Jake leaves. I wonder what Jake's going to bring
George
back.
Clooney. Brad
George
Pitt.
Clooney, Brad Pitt, they're not iconic.
He's
La-
supposed
larger
to bring
Matthew
back
McConaughey.
What if he brings back like
I can't
Russell
wait.
Brand?
Matthew
somebody?
Russell Brand will
He's
not.
horrible.
Russell Brand is not allowed in
Is
here.
he not the worst ever?
Yeah, he is the
Oh,
worst.
I can't
I
stand
really
it.
can't complain.
Did you see his Arthur version? Not even funny.
No,
Not even funny at all.
I tend to avoid him. He's like that Craig Ferguson
Yes.
on the late night.
Not very funny at
the
all.
worst late night host there is.
Of all time.
All right, who's your of the current late night hosts? Rank them.
I have to say this. I cannot stand the redhead dude.
Conan?
Don't like Conan.
I love.
I think Conan's I think he's a goofy looking, weird, tall, redheaded.
He's goofy looking.
And I'm not against redheads because
Funny.
my son's a redhead.
Well, thank goodness.
His show was better though when it was on NBC, but I'd have to go
One day we're gonna have a late night. We're gonna be a late night show, man.
Kimmel, Fallon, Conan, Letterman, Leno, and then that other guy that didn't
Do you
make
stay
the
up and
list.
watch all that?
No,
Okay.
but if I did, that would
That's
be
what-
the order.
Can I tell you my screwed up habits last night? I had to go. It was my stepson's birthday. Cameron and Cole, say happy birthday to him again. Anyway, we went to Mellow Mushroom at 6 o'clock to eat dinner, and everybody went. Boy, it gets expensive when our crowd goes to
How
dinner.
many are there altogether when you go out to eat?
Well, all my kids, and Cole was in Louisville, but Cameron was there, and of course Chad, Charlie Ann's husband, and the two little girls. Oh, Riley's so cute. She loves her pop pop. Here, pop pop. She came to the office yesterday and made a mess at my desk, but I let her do anything she wants, of course.
Imagine.
So she's at my desk, you know, using pens, using markers. I gave her an ice cream. I gave her gummies. She just loves her pop pop.
That's because you can and you can
Spoil
send her.
the hell out of
That's
her.
right. That's what a
She
grandparent's
loves-
job
Hand her
is.
back to the parents.
But
That's it.
anyway, so after that, I go home, and Cameron had a hockey game. Mary went to the hockey game. I was teasing. I said, I know you're going to lose because you ain't got Jake, man. Got a Jake or two. So I went home, and I got home. I had to stop at the office, get some stuff. Time I got home, it was like 9 o'clock, and I was exhausted. True story. I popped a 200 milligram caffeine pill and still said, I got to sleep. So after taking 200 milligrams of caffeine, I lay down and sleep till 11:30. Is that not hilarious?
From what time?
9 o'clock to 11:30.
No,
That's
Taylor,
really not
this
that
sounds
long.
So my
healthy.
wife comes home, I wake up, she goes to bed, and I went to work.
Wow.
And then I worked until 3:30, and then I took a nap from 3:30 to 4:45.
I don't know how you do it.
But
I don't either. I mean, you know, I've been that way where I've been tired before and drank coffee and
But
everything else, but
it's-
you still crash.
It's what I do. That's what I got to do to stay up on all my cases. You know what? Every case, no matter how big or small, that case is the most important case to that client. None of my lawyers are allowed to ever say that, oh, I was busy today or too busy. You're not allowed to say that because every case, no matter what size the case it is the most important legal matter for that client. That's how you got to treat it.
Right.
So big or small, man, so I work like I do because that's how I stay on top of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, American Jury, I hope you enjoyed my radio superbity. We'll be back tomorrow. Every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow is yours. We'll try to get Denise fired so we don't get interrupted by traffic. But until then, this is Garrett, the Bulldog, and Blondie signing off. Class X Radio.